Okay, today I'm going to talk to you about ultraviolet radiation. We're going to have a look at some of the uses and dangers. So to begin with, ultraviolet is part of the electromagnetic spectrum. It has a higher frequency than all of these types of radiation, and it has a lower frequency than X-rays and gamma rays. Because it's part of the electromagnetic spectrum, it travels at around 300 million meters per second in a vacuum, and it's a type of transverse wave. So to begin with, one use of ultraviolet radiation are in these things called security pens. And I'll show you just now what security pens are actually used for. So let's imagine that I've just bought myself a brand new laptop. Now, what I can do is I can get a security pen, and on the back of the laptop, so if I close it up, and on the back of the laptop, what I can do is I can sign my name. So here's my unique signature for my new laptop. Now the reason why this is used is when I sign it in my security pen, this is actually not visible currently. So I wouldn't actually see anything at this stage. Now the purpose of this is if someone was to steal my laptop, this security pen, this signature might come in really helpful. The reason for that is because of this. If the police were to find the person who stole the laptop, the person might claim that it was their laptop, but what the police can do is they can shine UV radiation, ultraviolet radiation, onto the laptop where I said my signature would be. And what will happen is the special chemicals within the security pen, within the ink, they absorb the ultraviolet radiation and they emit visible light. And what actually will happen is that signature will glow and it will indicate that it's not their product. It's in fact my product. This could help convict the person who stole the laptop. It can also help to return the property. Now this particular phenomenon is called fluorescence. So it's the idea of ultraviolet, of substances that absorb ultraviolet radiation and emit visible light. Now fluorescence is also important in the other uses that we need to know about ultraviolet radiation, which is helping to detect forgery. So every day people try and forge things such as banknotes and passports. So what they've done to try and protect basically against forgery. Sorry, my apologies for this little picture of the Queen. What they try and do to protect against forgery is they put special markings on, for example, banknotes like this £20 note here. So what happens is this. Again, under ultraviolet radiation, the special markings here absorb the ultraviolet radiation, and again, they give out visible light. So again, we should see this kind of glowing brightly. Again, an example of fluorescence in order to detect forgery, because it's easy enough to print the note, but it's not as easy to include the special markings that fluoresce under ultraviolet radiation. So this is how they can use in stores. If they hold the note under an ultraviolet light, then they should be able to see the note glowing and fluorescing as it gives out visible light. If it doesn't, then it's a good chance that it's forged. So this could be used to detect forgery of banknotes and also, like I said, passports. Now, it's not just those are the uses. We're now going to have a look at some of the dangers. Now, as we can see, ultraviolet radiation is close to this side of the scale, meaning it has quite a high frequency. Now, the further we go this way, the more dangerous these types of radiation are because they transfer more energy. We describe ultraviolet as being ionizing radiation, which means it can actually cause some damage. The reason for that is this. So let's imagine this is someone's arm, Now, this is why it's important to wear sunblock when you're out in a lot of sun, because what can happen is the ultraviolet radiation, which is present in sunlight, can basically come into contact with your skin. And because it's ionizing, due to quite a high frequency, it can cause skin cancer. So it can actually ionize your cells. Now, there's another video to show that exact process, but just to know that it can cause skin cancer. Now, that's not the only problem. This that I'm drawing is just an eye from the side. So it's a side view of the eye. If we have too much ultraviolet radiation going into our eyes, it can actually damage our eyes. And in very severe cases, not damage cells, damage eyes. And in very severe cases, it can cause blindness. So that is basically the uses of ultraviolet radiation and the dangers. Thank you.